right, fans of music, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there, and yours truly right here. Chicago, the band, and REO Speedwagon having trouble selling tickets. Yes, just went on, like Ticketmaster to see the next concert. I think it's like 3 or 4 days out. And I could pretty much sit wherever I want to sit. If I want to sit up front, I can sit up front. If I want to sit on the side or in the back or on the lawn or wherever, I can sit anywhere. There are many, many tickets available for Chicago and REO Speedwagon. Buddy of mine went to the show up in Tampa and said there were a lot of empty seats. Ouch. These promoters, they bring these bands together to try to, create some kind of chemistry. They did this with Chicago and REO a couple of years back. I believe they still had Jason Sheff in the band when they did that. And I think both bands sounded better a couple of years ago than they do currently. This dude, Neil Donnell, I've been talking about him. He's probably tired of me talking about him. He was great in the Brass Transit band, we'll put it that way. When Neil was in Brass Transit, the expectations were kind of low. People knew what they were getting. You're trying to duplicate the music of Chicago. Now he's in Chicago, and he doesn't sound like Peter Cetera. His claim to fame was he could sound like anybody. He could do the baritone, he could do the tenor, he could do, mid-range. Whatever you wanted, he could do it. The problem is his voice doesn't sound like anybody's voice who's been in this band. And add to the confusion, people singing songs that weren't theirs. When I saw Chicago, Robert Lamb came out and sang Another Rainy Day in New York City. Now I get it. He wrote the song, but Peter Cetera sang it originally, and a tenor voice, if you're going to hear that song on the radio, which is very rare, you do occasionally hear it on a good soft rock station, but you're going to hear Peter's version of it, and you think somebody who sings in that range would take it. You got another guy who's singing baritone, and that's Lou Pardini, and he's singing songs like Call on Me, and this has been going on for a long time. It's almost as if, Peter's not in the band and hasn't been for a long time. Jason, he's gone. Jeff, he's gone. So now we're just going to go out there like utility infielders and outfielders and just, hey, can you play third base? Yeah, I can play third base. Great, go over to third. And the fans are saying, that guy shouldn't be over on third base. What's going on? I feel an Abbott and Costello thing about to happen, but I'm going to get out of this. I'm just saying, you expect your starting pitcher to pitch. You don't expect your starting pitcher to be like in the outfield. It just doesn't work, okay? So this is what's happening with Chicago, and then compound that with this guy Donnell, who really has taken the band down with him. I'm sorry to be blunt, but I just don't see it any other way. A lot of tickets available, and I'm going to say this too. The promoters putting these two bands together doesn't make sense. Chicago, Earth, Wind, and Fire, that makes sense. REO Speedwagon, Styx, 38 Special, makes good sense, okay? Chicago and REO, yes, other than their state of Illinois connection, I think, Chicago, obviously, from the Windy City, and REO, I believe, from Champaign, Illinois, or somewhere thereabouts. Okay, they're both from Illinois, completely different styles of music. I know fans get less finicky as they get older, but Chicago fans and REO fans kind of from different atmospheres. You know what I mean? You can make it work, but you'd have to have both bands hitting on all cylinders. I've been hearing that REO's putting on a much better show, even with Kevin Cronin, who, again, sounds very soft, very mousy when he sings, has lost some of that deepness that he once had. But I'll tell you this, Kevin is still out there trying to belt those tunes out. It's different when you get older. Everybody's voice changes. I just listened to Sammy Hagar in The Circle from a couple of years back doing all these Van Halen tunes, and Sammy's having trouble. He's what, back there he was what, probably 68, 69. He's 71 now. And he sang at a level which few human beings have sung at. So yeah, cut him some slack, but if you're going to go out there and you're going to do these tunes, this makes the argument, by the way, if you want to keep these bands alive, you've got to find people who can sing the part. Okay? Eventually, either the brand is going to go away, they're going to retire the brand name and say no more Chicago, or they're going to bring people in. Robert Lamb hinted at this earlier this year that, hey, someday there may be 0 original members in the band Chicago. And right now, that might be better than the chemistry that's going on in this group. I think Chicago really has to think long and hard about replacing this guy Donnell and finding a guy who's a natural tenor who can play bass guitar, okay? I just think that is what you've had. That's what you recruited before. I know they were in a pinch, and I know Chivarelli apparently liked this guy 2 years ago, even though Jeff Coffey was the guy in the group. And that's kind of weird that he's liking on somebody who isn't in the group. And Jeff, I think, if you listen to Jeff Coffey during the soundstage performance of Chicago 2, he just absolutely nails it. He's a good guy, and it's just a shame. Like I said before, there's more going on than just, hey, the road was just too much for him. Nope, something went down. I don't know what went down. If I figure it out, I'll let you know. But in any event, Chicago and REO having some trouble selling tickets. And if you're a fan of music, especially old-time rock, you're going to be sad to hear that. But they need to put a better team on the field if they want to attract fans. See you soon, everybody. Talk to you then.